I was scrolling through Twitter during my lunch break today, and out of nowhere, the Charlie Kirk video popped up. Not the faraway shot, but the up close one. I don't know if you've seen it, but man, it's hard to watch. The tough one. You know, Twitter doesn't give you a warning or anything. It just happened. And I instantly thought it was AI. It's got to be fake. So I Googled if Charlie Kirk had been shot, and yeah, just a few minutes prior, and a bunch of news organizations were reporting on it. But once I found out it was real, I was like, no way he's going to survive that shot. Unless it's an ambulance nearby or a hospital nearby. Maybe. But it's so hard to stop the bleeding when you get hit in a very vital area. And when you see that blood just come out, you just know it hit a very vital area. They were even interviewing a doctor, and he said that it looked like his spinal cord was severed. Man, I didn't agree 100% with everything Charlie Kirk said. That pretty much goes for everybody. Nothing wrong with that. He had his opinions, I had mine. But to kill someone like that, just for having that opinion, I know he was getting a lot of attention, especially with the youth, young conservatives, which is why we probably considered a threat. And I knew it was going to happen. There was going to be a few out there who were going to celebrate his death. Yep, that train's never late. But they did point out something that I never saw before. And it's very ironic. Or like it says in The Matrix, fate, it seems, is now without a sense of irony. There's a video of him where he says,
you will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
but I wonder how, if his family agreed with him with that, I wonder how they feel now. Because I've noticed with a lot of people, famous and not, that when it hits them personally, they change their tune, their way of thinking. Even the country singer who was on stage when the shooting began in Las Vegas, he was pro-gun all the way. And after that happened, he changed his tune. Somebody on the internet asked if we'll ever be able to go back to a better time politically. At least in my lifetime, I've never seen this country as divided as it is now. Like, man, maybe the 60s, maybe. And someone else pointed out that back then there were a lot more politically related assassination attempts. I don't know how true that is, but the people, I think, haven't been this divided since Civil War, maybe. Maybe. Then you got immigration, got these racial issues, the transgender stuff, the war on drugs. Man, like it never ends. And honestly, I'm starting to think it'll never get to a point where we're all in peace and harmony. Not perfect, but somehow still living in a high trust kind of society where we disagree without inserting hate, like violent, destructive hate. Hopefully, the coming generations will change things a bit, but I don't know. It doesn't look like it. Because I've seen them debate online. The Gen Zs, they're passionate, very passionate on both sides. And someone else said that what happened with Charlie Kirk, it made a million Charlie Kirks. A lot of people are going to get radicalized, especially on the right. Man, I really thought maybe he was going to make it. If he would have made it, and he would have survived that shot, and Trump survived that gunshot, MAGA would have seemed untouchable. But now that he passed away, he's kind of like a martyr. And martyrs inspire. They influence a lot of people. And Lord knows he has a lot of videos on the internet putting out his message. And honestly, I was a kind of a fan of his. Yeah, somebody pointed out he was kind of like the moderate. To the far left, he was a Nazi. But if you're not far left and you really paid attention, he wasn't a racist. He wasn't sexist. He was a devout Christian, so of course he didn't believe that any other religion was the right religion, especially Islam. But he was more talking about culturally, Christian uh, society clash with Islamic society. I saw a video of his where someone asked him if he was racist, if he thought that black people had a lower IQ or something like that, like they used to think scientists in the 30s and 20s. He said no. He said it's just culture. Black Americans need fathers in the home, that sort of thing. So if he was racist right then and there, he should have been like, yeah, they're inferior, whites are superior. So yeah, it seems like there's a little too much misinformation out there. One person says one thing about someone and they believe it. Even though you could, do your research, look at stuff, but people don't take the time. I think almost it's like they want to believe what they heard. Why ruin it? His family. That's what messed me up too. His family, wife, his kids. Luckily, the kids are very young. Hopefully, they won't remember too much or at all. But his wife and his family was right there in attendance at that event. Ah, her pain, man, her pain. She's a Christian too, so hopefully her faith helps her get through it. Most, on Twitter at least, most lefties, Democrats, they're like saying what I'm saying, like, I don't care how much you disagree with someone, that ain't the answer. It's wrong. But of course, you got a few far left nutcases out there on TikTok, on Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever, spewing garbage. They're probably just trying to get attention, but deep inside they feel bad, or maybe not. Someone else said that this could be like the assassination that sparked off World War One. I don't know about that, but see, it does seem like something's brewing, kind of like a civil war, but I think we're too distracted. Both sides are way too distracted nowadays. If this would have happened prior to the internet, maybe it would happen. Would have a stronger chance. Or maybe because of the internet, because everybody's in communication with each other, unlike ever before, that's why it could happen. Because the internet was supposed to bring us together and see people for who they are. You know, you would think, you would hope the good side of people, good side of humanity. My opinion, it showed the worst of it, especially America. How divided we really are, how different we think. I don't know. This country was they've described it as an experiment, bring the whole world together to one land, a land of immigrants. See what transpires. Not a lot of good has come out of it, but it is the most violent country in the world, consecutively for a very long time, a very violent place. Oddly enough, right now I'm recording this on 9/11. And I remember on 9/11, the country for the most part came together. Everybody was American. Everybody loved this country, even somewhat when Barack Obama was elected. It felt like a turning point, a good one. Ironically, that's what Charlie Kirk's organization was called. That could mean that could mean two things, man. Turning point, either good, heading somewhere good, or heading somewhere bad. But both those times it felt pretty good. Things are getting better somewhat. But what happened with Charlie Kirk, I don't think it's good. Not gonna unite people. Not gonna unite the country. Not anytime soon. But all right, man. That's my piece on it. I hope things get better. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Hopefully his family finds the strength, gets through it, continues his work. You know what? That's what a lot of people who debate, they should continue his work. Bill Maher has done it. Ben Shapiro. They should continue doing what he was doing. But all right, man. That's it. That's my piece. Now we'll catch you on the next one.